Well, the market is very volatile right now, but I am going to explain to you guys why you should not worry about the pullback. And I'm also going to explain to you guys what you can do to make money during this volatile time between elections and PMI data. I'm going to show you some trades that are very safe. Not only that, what I would do right now to take advantage of the situation, because no matter what's going on in the market, there's always an opportunity to make money. So let's get right into it. Don't worry about smashing the like button, subscribing, or looking for the coaching and Discord link just yet. We'll get to that. First, let's talk about what's going on in the market. Well, the S&P 500 crashed today almost 2%. It was like almost a $10 drop, but that was really due to Nvidia, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, Google. Big tech kind of pulled back really because of AMD's earnings and Nvidia. It happens. They control tech. The tech controls the S&P 500 quite a bit. It's a big portion of it. In fact, it's 33%. Apple holding the biggest portion of the S&P 500. It also dropped this morning. Now, the reason why this happened is really because of a lot of manipulations, sell-off, big hedge funds, institutions. It happens all the time. It's not only the uncertainty the market doesn't like with the elections coming up, there's also PMI data coming out tomorrow on manufacturing, and manufacturing has been contracting and stabilizing over the past 6 months to a year, but there hasn't been a lot of growth in manufacturing. With services PMI data, that's coming out on Tuesday, the same day as the elections, November 5th. Services PMI has been expanding consistently, so I'm not worried about that, and investors aren't either, but what they actually are worried about is manufacturing PMI data, which is coming out tomorrow. Now, with the uncertainty of the election, that's something that the stock market, investors, institutions, hedge funds, they don't like this. The market just does not like uncertainty. They would rather know who's going to win the election than to have any uncertainty. It doesn't matter who wins to the market as long as they know. This way they know where to put their money in. If Kamala Harris wins, then Alibaba, NIO, and other stocks will do well. Chinese trading will do better. And if Donald Trump wins the election, I expect Alibaba, NIO, and Taiwan Semiconductor to have issues due to potential and likely tariffs. I also expect crude oil to drop, cryptocurrency to go up, and anything involving the cyclical stocks in the United States, I would expect them to go up as well. Coca-Cola, Kraft Heinz, other stocks such as SoFi, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Bank of America, Ally, PayPal, they're all going to go up as well because Donald Trump's more about bringing jobs back, putting tariffs on China, stabilizing the economy, cutting taxes. Joe Biden's on-ramp will all be done with, and student loan forgiveness will be mostly gone, if not completely gone. So that's why I look to that direction. But the market doesn't like uncertainty, and these are uncertainties. And unfortunately, as long as they exist, the market will be volatile. But that doesn't mean we can't make money. So what I'm going to explain to you guys in this video is what I think is going to happen or likely to happen. I'll give you guys some trades that I think are safe right now, and I think you should be implementing this and doing it as we speak. Before we jump into that though, if you guys are having difficulty understanding this, or maybe you just don't understand it really at all, and you're trying to get started, or maybe you want to retire early, I would love to help you out. You guys can sign up at anytime. InvestWithCorey.com. Link is in the information box below. I have students that have turned their $8,000 portfolio into $23,000 in less than 3.5 months. I have other students that started with $300,000 looking to retire, and they've turned that into $425,000 in just under 4 months. I grew up in a Catholic household. My mother and father were very strict on me on doing well for others if I could. And when I achieved financial freedom, I started setting myself out to build a system to help others achieve the same success.
In just a short amount of time, the program that you offer, I've learned so much, and I've changed my entire approach to investing. You know, I'm much more structured, much more safe, and I've seen consistent, profitable growth. I've seen the growth, and it's almost like unbelievable. Like in a market that we're in now, I was still able to consistently grow because you're so, methodical and structured, and you care about each student. I'm here to say it how it is, right? I've made consistent growth. So I started with $15,000, right? I am now at $40,000.
You can click on Invest with Corey, go to the website, and you can see the testimonials from my students. You can watch these testimonials, and you can click on training. Every question you have will be answered in this video, and you can book a call with my team and I so that I can help you retire early and grow your portfolio. And I look forward to speaking with you whenever you're ready to join. With the uncertainty the way it is in the market, one of the sure things you can do is invest in the S&P 500. Although we had the pullback with Nvidia, AMD, Google, Microsoft, Meta, big tech. Meta and Nvidia and AMD earnings were all good though, yet they all pulled back and they pulled the S&P down with it. However, this is not something to panic about. In fact, this is something to actually be excited about. And the reason I say to be excited about this is because their earnings were good. The reason the market is pulling back is elections and PMI data. If PMI data comes out tomorrow and it's as good as we expect or even better, and it didn't get any worse and it's only improving even slightly, the markets are mostly going to recover. I would say 30 to 50% of today's pullback will be recovered by tomorrow alone. That's what I would estimate based on history of PMI reports and data. If the PMI data tomorrow is even better than we expect and it's really good, then I would say a big share, if not most of today's pullback will be recovered. But we still have the looming elections going on, which is coming up on Tuesday. And we also have PMI data on Tuesday. Once the elections are done on Tuesday and PMI data comes out on services on Tuesday, I would expect Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week to run, which means even if you get into a certain position right now and it pulls back even further and you go into a losing position by Tuesday, by next week, end of next week, you're probably going to be back to break even or even profits. I wouldn't try to time the bottom too much because if you get into a position, you can always dollar cost average. You can get some today or tomorrow. And if it drops more on Tuesday or Wednesday, dollar cost average. And by the end of the next week or the week after, you're beyond break even. You're in a profit at this point. Right now, it's very safe, I would say, to do the S&P 500. I actually have S&P 500 560 long calls, and I have sold 577 and 578 short calls for tomorrow. So in the 577, I collected $110 each. So it's $220. It's down to 85. It's only because SPY has come up a bit today and recovered. If it recovers some more tomorrow, it'll maybe put this in the negative short term, but SPY has to close above 577 tomorrow or it's all mine. $220 a day is a decent amount of money because these are only worth about $3,900. These LEAP contracts, the 560s, that is. You can see that I have a 560 here, and I purchased them originally before the pullback, which I should not have done. And then I dollar cost average. I paid a little over $4,500 for the second contract. I paid like $44. And the third one, I paid $39. I'm probably going to get a fourth one, which will give me an average cost of $42. And in order to get $4,200 and break even, I'll show you where SPY needs to go. SPY only has to return probably about 475, 476. Yeah, if SPY returns to 476, this will be worth close to $4,200. And right now, my average cost is 43. I'm going to buy another contract today, and that's going to give me a cost average of roughly 42. If we look at the charts on SPY, I was right about here, and that's going to give me my break even, which will happen right after elections. After that, everything is profit. If we go to simulate returns, we will see that it's likely to go to 582-ish or 580 by the end of November, maybe sooner. I'll stand to make $700 to $800 a contract, which will be about $3,500 plus the short calls that I'm making, which is a lot. So I can make $3,500 on the longs. And if we look at the shorts, selling a call option 1 day out, because today is almost completely over. It's like a little over 60% over, so not very much money to be made today. But we go 1 day out and we were to do a 580, which is $9 out of the money. It's $33 and a 10 delta. We could go a little more aggressive, sell a 578 to 17 delta. 577 is 21. I recommend doing 15 to 20 delta. So 577 is a 21. 83 and a 17 delta 62. I would say that we're between 50 and 70 if we were selling zero DTEs. So roughly $50 a day. So that is $200 a day times 5, 1,000 a week times 4, plus 800 times 4. If everything works out, I'll make $7,200. So essentially on $16,000, I'll make $7,200 a month and a half. This is 50% return. It's insane. Even if we don't sell the LEAP options, I'm making $4,000 on a $16,000 investment, 25% per month. If we were to go a little bit safer and account for maybe buying back some contracts at a loss, realistically, we're at about 10 to 15% per month easily. I've been consistently between 15 and 20% per month. So it's a very good trade. I would look to enter the 560 call. If you're wondering, I would do April 17th because it gives you just right around 6 months. You want to be sure of what you're doing here though, because 560 is great because open interest is over 2,000, volume's 43, so it's decent. It's not that good. The volume's dropped considerably since yesterday. 555, not so good. 550 has 11 volume. 545 only has 3. 540 has 325. So you might want to do the 540s because there's a lot more volume. 535 has 366 and 530 is 937. So the 530 is where a lot of the interest is. There's not as much in 560, but 560 is a lot cheaper. So it's really up to you, but then you can go to town selling covered calls. You really can't go wrong either way. If you have a small account, you can do the 560s because this is going to generate some consistent income. If you don't want to mess with the SPY, SoFi, and Palantir, I would definitely sell some $39 and $40 puts on Palantir. I would also consider selling $11 puts or $10.50 puts going out to next week on SoFi because I believe this will be fairly strong. If it's not, then you're just going to dollar cost average. It's a risky time, but I would say that because the way the markets are and the pullback and the volatility, I think SPY is the safest. And even if it does pull back, it's likely to just run in November and December and almost for sure anyway. Remember, guys, do your own due diligence. If you guys want to sign up for the coaching, the Discord, and the training course, I would love to help you, fam. It's what drives me every single day to help people just like you achieve your financial freedoms and your financial goals. InvestWithCorey.com. Links in the information box below. Be safe in these strange times. Sit on cash. The trades that I gave you here, take at your own risk, but be sure to do your due diligence on these trades as the S&P 500 always recovers and in long term is always the safest bet. I'll see you guys on the next video or upload. Be safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.